Hello. So let's get started with lesson 13. In this, we're going to combine two or more simple sentences to form compound and complex sentences. So this is called synthesis of sentences. This would give, a variety to your writing, and your writing would become a bit, much more impressive because too many simple sentences, you know, bring that monotony in the writing or in the speaking. And so to improvise your skills and your hold over language, your speaking and writing has to be a combination of all kinds of sentences, simple, compound, and complex. Now let's look at these examples. Synthesis means the combination of a number of simple sentences into one new sentence, be it simple or a compound or a complex. So we can combine sentences different ways by using a participle. He jumped up, he ran away. We have subject repeated twice. So I'm going to use the participle form of jumped and remove the second, subject. Jumping up, he ran away. Similarly, he was tired of play, he sat down to rest. This would be changed to tired of play, he sat down to rest. So I could use a noun and combine the information. This is my friend, his name is Alex. This is my friend Alex. I need not mention it separately. I can combine the information. I spent 3 days in the flea market. It is one of the most attractive spots in Goa. So rather than making a new sentence, it is definitely referring to a noun which is or the object which is there in the previous sentence. So I can combine the information by using an adjective phrase. I spent 3 days in the flea market. One of the most attractive spots is an adjective phrase which is describing the flea market in Goa. We can also combine sentences using a preposition with a noun or gerund. The sun rose, their journey had not ended. The sun rose before the end of their journey. His mother died. He heard the news. He fainted. Whenever you make a sentence, you have to make sure that your sentence is correctly formed either in the chronological order, as in the time of action, what happens first has to come first, or in the priority order. So on hearing the news of his mother's death, he fainted. Okay, let's take a few more examples. The army arrived, the crowd dispersed. The army having arrived, the crowd dispersed. Similarly, the fort was enclosed by a strong wall. The Mughals were unable to seize it. So here, when I say the fort was enclosed and they were unable to seize it, I have a common subject fort. So I can keep it in the front and then, in the beginning and then try to create a complex sentence. The fort having been enclosed by a strong wall, which is the description of the fort, the Mughals were unable to seize it. So we can also form sentences by using an infinitive. We must finish this exercise. There are still 2 more pages. We have still 2 more pages of this exercise to finish. Or he's very fat, he cannot run. He's too fat to run. We can also combine the sentences using an adverb or an adverbial phrase. The sun rose. The boys had not woken up from sleep. The boys had not woken up by sunrise. I cannot combine my sentences unless and until I find a single word for the phrase the sun rose, which is what? Sunrise. Similarly, the sun rose, the fog dispersed, the captain was determined to delay no longer. He gave the order to advance. Oh my God, there are 4 simple sentences. It is definitely not an easy job. So then I combine the sun rose to sunrise. The fog dispersed, I will use my past participle, fog having dispersed. The captain. Now, when I look at these 2 sentences, the captain was determined to delay no longer. He gave the order to advance. My subject, the captain, is common, so I can keep it outside and use a linker and form a complex sentence. So then, how do you get the final answer? At sunrise, the fog having dispersed, the captain determined to delay no longer, gave the order to advance. If you want, you can use a linker also. The captain, who was determined to delay no longer, gave the order to advance. That's a bit more clear, rather, because I know that my linker, who, is replacing the other subject or the repetition of the subject in the same sentence. Okay, now let's understand how to combine two or more simple sentences into a single complex sentence. You are drunk, that aggravates your offense. That you are drunk aggravates your offense. You will have to use a noun clause. What aggravates your offense? That you are drunk. The whole thing is taken as a noun clause. He will be on time for the party. That is certain. It is certain that he will be on time for the party. He may be innocent, I'm not sure. So I, combine it. I'm not sure whether he is innocent. Sometimes when you change the type of sentence, you might have to bring the former part of, as in the first simple, um, first simple sentence at the back, and you'll have to bring the second simple sentence in the front so that you can combine it to form a correct compound or complex sentence. You might have to change the order or the placement of the clauses or sentences. Now let's talk about synthesis of sentences. He does his best, he should be praised. So here now we are using an adjective clause. He who does his best should be praised. So who does his best is describing he. So these group of words is called adjective clause. She keeps her ornaments in a safe. This is the safe. This is the safe where she keeps her ornaments. So it is basically describing the safe. Then we use subordinate clause as an adverb clause. I waited for my friend. I waited till his arrival. I waited for my friend until he came. For how long did I wait? Until he came. So it's like, telling you the time. He left the company. His well-wishers could not follow him. He left the company where his well-wishers could not follow him. So we are combining into using, an adverb clause by using some linkers, where, until, who, etc. So that's all about synthesis of sentences. I hope you had a good, interesting lesson where you learned how to make a compound or a complex sentence out of two or more simple sentences. And what is important is the application of what you're learning. Again, when you start to run, writing or speaking, if you start using too many simple sentences again, you may not get, uh, you know, your desired score during these competitive exams in writing and all. So try to combine the simple sentences and form complex and compound sentences to convey the right meaning and to make it a bit shorter and precise. I hope it was useful. Thank you so much for your time. Happy learning.